Hello, Oliver. Could you please introduce yourself and tell me about your business?
Okay. My name's Oliver Harper. I'm the Managing Director of Harper Luxe Service Departments based in Dunstable in Bedfordshire. I've been involved in the property industry within sales, construction, as well as property management. I hate to say it, coming up to 45 years. But yeah, so over the years, I've been involved in a lot of property management, and the service departments that we operate in Dunstable is a benchmark to see whether or not we're prepared to look at further expansion going forward.
You have a great career. How did you get into it? How did you get into short-term rentals?
Good question. Okay, so I started off in the construction industry when I was 15. I started off on the building trade, working of all things of what's called a hod carrier. So I used to work for bricklayers. But anyway, I had bigger visions, and from there I then went into carpentry and joinery, plumbing, and various other building trades till when I got to the age of 21, I decided that then I could try and cut my teeth in real estate. So I'd done that for several years and saw the highs, then the lows of the first recession back in 1987. And in 1991, I decided then to set up my own property development company. And so myself and my selected team, we went about and started to buy old derelict houses to buildings and converting these into apartments or houses. And then from the commercial, we then started to get a name for ourselves and doing what we started to do. So then clients were asking us to help them build their own property portfolios. And within that, we touched on finance. So I was helping clients with regards to finance and advising them on what sort of taxation is a good way of going about things, to the point of literally doing a complete white glove, as it were, approach to helping clients. And I've done that for many years, to the point up until just after we just completed this last project in Dunstable. We were doing the service apartments, that all of a sudden I decided it would be best then just to put the brakes on and just evaluate what is the best way of going forward with regards to service departments, whether or not we stay in the UK or we do what we're doing here at the moment, start looking for investments for clients here in the Middle East, where I'm based in Dubai.
So how many properties do you manage as of now?
But at the moment, we're looking after about a dozen properties at the moment, as well as commercial.
And where are they located? In one country or distributed around the globe?
That's right. They're actually based in the UK.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. And what reasons have led you to search for Truvy's services?
Okay, it was originally, prior to Truvy, it was obviously Superhog. So when we first started, what I wanted to do is make sure that we could align our vision of having a quality product, as in service apartments, but at the same time, we needed to have a professional company to work alongside in the event, if anything was to happen, to have a third-party insurance company assist us in the event, if anything was to happen. The expression touch wood, of which I'm doing at the moment, that nothing has actually happened and it may continue. And that's it, really, just having the reassurance that there's a third-party company that we could work alongside and they could advise us accordingly. And
did you how did you find out about Truvy and what first attracted you to us?
Okay, I'm going to have to go back to your previous company prior to you being bought out, as it were. At the time, this was, like I say, coming up to 3, maybe 4 years ago, when I first started to look at third-party insurance providers. There's obviously quite a few companies out there, and a lot now coming online, offering a very similar service. The only reason I stayed with Truvy was the service that I had from the team members. It was more of a personal service than feeling like you were a number within an insurance company. So by having that personal service, as it were, it made a huge difference to myself, especially being a small business, knowing that I could obviously work alongside another, in our eyes, another small business, sharing sort of similar values as well as views.
Which of our product services or do you use now?
Okay, so the service that we use at the moment is it's the damage waiver protection that we operate, because obviously we've only got a number of properties. Having that service of obviously having guests screened prior and having that immediate response back to say whether or not they're verified or not verified, and having that automated system notifying us of what we need to do, as in respond back to them and ask them for further details, was a real game changer for us.
How is guest screening benefiting your company?
Because we've only got a limited number, there's only a limited number of people, obviously, that we use presently. I think if there was more coming through, it would be a different. But the service that we're offering at the moment, just to know that we've got that safeguard of having that insurance in place, is working for us at the moment.
Do you feel like your business is benefiting from using the damage waiver?
But at the moment,
I think it's more as like I say, it's a safeguard, but it's also a deterrent. So whoever the guests that are coming in, that they have to go through quite a few hurdles to make sure that they are screened accordingly. Yeah, I think that would be it, really, making sure they're being screened accordingly and they're being verified with your appropriate checks.
So, talking about the hurdles, do you ever get resistance from guests to screening requests?
but at the moment,
To answer your question, I'm going to shake my head and say, no, I haven't had any as yet, and may that continue.
So we arrived at the last question. I wanted to ask you, what's your best advice for running a successful property management company?
First of all,
but at
you
the
need a
moment,
good team in place. I'm fortunate enough, like I said, I've been around the block for quite a few, I hate to say it now, decades. I think that'd be the easiest way of saying it. So I've got some really good, reliable team members around me who I can rely on in the event if there was anything that needed to be addressed. As you can hear in the background, it's the call for prayer where we are in the middle of the East. But yeah, having a good team around me is number one. And also, again, it's also team players with like Trivio, and also having the appropriate product as well. So the product that we have and that we're offering to clients, I can honestly say from the experience that I've been involved in property and renting property out for quite a few decades, you need to have something which is quite unique. And also, we're now going very much into the sustainability and looking at how guests can be informed and how they can contribute to the day-to-day running of a property. So if it's things like saving water, electric, looking at waste management, and we try and educate now all our guests who come through the door and on how they could benefit from just doing little changes that are going to make a huge impact. And also on top of that, I'm very much into the wellness as well behind our apartments. And with that in mind, we team up with local company to offer our guests. They have free gym access to when they stay with us. And we've just recently purchased a fleet of handmade, the company's called Pashley, the oldest handmade bicycle company in the UK. And we've got a fleet of those now at the guest disposal they can use to explore all the bicycle paths around Bedfordshire. So
I love that.
So by doing so, they can actually offset their carbon footprint by using these bicycles.